Hey, welcome back everybody. It is July 5th, just after 8 in the morning. The temperature's in the mid 70s and rising, and the humidity is about 99%. So it should be a fun time in the bee yard. Alright, so for the most part, this is just going to be a routine inspection. The last inspection was about 2.5 weeks ago. I think we are getting out of swarm season, but you never know, so I still have my traps up. I don't think I covered this on the last video, but I added the supers maybe at the same time of the last inspection, if not before, maybe a month ago. And I had the queen excluders on because I wanted them to build out nice, pretty wax to store nectar in next year, right? So I'm planning ahead. So after having the supers on with the queen excluders and feeding them, I have a 1-gallon division board feeder in the top brood chamber here. After feeding them about two times, so 2 gallons of 1-1 syrup, I have yet to see them really draw out any wax on the supers. So as some people know, and if you don't, some folks refer to queen excluders as honey excluders because sometimes the bees will just not like to pass through it and use the super as it's designed for. So what I did sometime last week, I think, I removed the queen excluders, hoping the bees will use this extra space as a brood chamber, and after a cycle of bees or so emerge, or after the entire super is drawn out, I will store it for next year. That's just something else I'll be checking on today. But for the most part, like I said, it's just going to be a routine inspection, quick assessment of each hive's health, and taking a look to see how much sugar water they have left, because I'm assuming I'll probably have to feed them again here shortly. Alright, so enough of me yapping. Let's get into hive number 1 and see how things are looking. There does seem to be more bees in the top box now that I removed the honey excluder. Or it could just be me, so take that with a grain of salt. I'm not going to mess with that too much. Really no need to. I really just want to see them start to draw out that top box. So we'll set that aside. Man, I'm just clumsy today. Let's see. I think I'll move the camera over here just to get a better angle. Alright, kind of up close. So let's see how hive number 1's doing. We got some rain yesterday and a little bit over the night, which hasn't really happened too much at all this year. So anticipating the bees being a little irritable this morning, since most of them are probably still in the hive. Man, this thing is sealed. It is a pretty tight fit when you have a division board feeder in here. So last year when I was using this thing, or maybe the year before, I think it was last year, I bought them because they advertised as taking up 1 frame width, and initially I didn't think that was true because it was such a tight fit, but it does take up 1 frame width. It's just very, very difficult. So as you can see, the shiny stuff, that's most likely sugar water, but this was one of the frames I believe I harvested, and as you can see, they built out all the comb or rebuilt it, I guess you could say. So what I was saying about the division board feeder is they advertise it as taking up 1 frame width, and it does, but it just makes it very tight to fit the rest of the frames, the other 9 frames. Alright, so another food store. So Eastern North Carolina is going through a dearth. We have been for the last 2 weeks or so, which is why I added the division board feeder and started feeding them 1-to-1 syrup. Just because there's nothing blooming until the goldenrod starts to bloom in the fall. But this is also giving them a food store or a food source to not only store food, nectar, sugar water, but to also build up comb on new foundation. Hopefully that's on camera. I can't tell. I'm using the GoPro, but I mean, check out that green pattern. That's nice. All these cells either have spun larvae where the queens come back through and laid another egg, or they may have just freshly emerged. But yeah, this queen's doing what she should be doing. So that's pretty much right in the middle. I almost grabbed my flashlight because it's hard to tell with the darker comb, but there's eggs. Actually, I'll grab the flashlight anyway. There's eggs throughout this whole area. Yep. So I have no doubt this hive is healthy. The queen's doing exactly what she should be doing. Let's take a look at this side real quick. Yep, eggs for days. Another nice looking frame. Now I have not been in the bottom box in quite a while, so even though I said if I spotted eggs and all, I probably wouldn't tear through them too much, because you know, every time you tear through your colonies you disturb them, and I'm sure this top box has some weight to it, but I kind of feel like it might not be a bad idea just to take a look. Try and squeeze this one down there. It's not as heavy as I thought it would be. It's got some decent weight to it too. I mean, That's a nice example of a food store. Look at all the pollen. Some capped honey, sugar water. Alright, so real quick, not too much going on in the bottom box. However, I'm not going to disturb them too much. I'm going to put them back together and I'll check on them in another 2 weeks. Yeah, this is the one disadvantage to inspecting your colonies when the weather's not nice and sunny, is there is a maximum capacity of bees in the colony. So as you can see, they are on me. I'm going to step off camera for a little bit, smoke them down, and just let them kind of chill out for a little bit. Definitely time to feed them again. Hive is this? I don't remember anymore, so I guess it doesn't really matter, or I can't really recall right now. But checking the overall, got a nice weight to it. Just checking the overall health. Okay, that's different. So as you can see, this entire frame is food. Stored, except for this small little patch of drone brood. Same thing, food, brand new frame, they haven't even done anything with. So something that's interesting to me that I'll find out is the sun rises in the east and it hits the left side of the colonies. So because hive number 1, the hive the camera's sitting on, is a double deep with a superalter, casts a shadow onto this colony for the early morning hours. So I'm curious to see if this colony has brood built up on the left side like the majority of them, or if they're just doing something different. Alright, so this is interesting. I believe this is one of the swarms, if I can remember, that I transferred into the 10 frame not that long ago. So the interesting thing to me is, since I can't really remember, there's 3 queen cells on this frame, as you can see here, that clearly have emerged. We have a little bit of capped brood, but that's from a few weeks ago. Because as you can see, 21 days, this bee's trying to hatch right now. And I don't see any eggs. And this bee's trying to hatch over here too. Right there. Getting some assistance. Yeah, so I don't see any eggs. And I don't see the queen, which is pretty normal to me. But what I'm getting at is no eggs, queen cells, bees hatching. So 21 days, 16 days. I'm thinking this hive may have re-swarmed, which my experience this year, because here's 2 more, or actually 3, 4 maybe, 4 more queen cells. Yeah, so I'm thinking they re-swarmed, which is fine, because I did catch that swarm last week or so and transferred it into the double stack nuke. So I'm just gonna let them be. Give them more feed. There might be a virgin queen in there that's hard to find, and she just hasn't gone out on her mating flight. So I was watching Bruce's Bees down in Dothan, Alabama. He's got a pretty good channel if y'all want to check him out. I think he was saying something like, if you can't find the queen, just give it about 2 weeks and then check again. So she may have hatched recently, not mated, or recently, no, yeah, not mated, and just hasn't started laying any eggs yet. So no big deal. Just gonna give them about 2 weeks and check on them again. But in the meantime, just give them more feed so they can build up some of those new frames. Okay, let's see, moving on to hive. Used to call it 2, I guess it's 3 now. This is where things get a little confusing when you start adding colonies and making splits. So again, I did the super not that long ago, but removed the honey excluder about last week. The goal is for for them to draw out the foundation. And for whatever reason, they just didn't seem to want to draw out the foundation with that honey excluder on there. So it's really hard to tell with this yellow plastic foundation if they're drawing it out or not. It's just hard to tell. I'm just gonna leave it on, and if they do, they do. If they don't, I guess they don't. Oh wow, check this out. This was the better honey producing colony that I had this year, but look at that. The sugar water I'm giving them, I mean, they were making short work of it. They were storing it and capping it easily. Oh man, watch this next frame. I mean, these bees have some great genetics. Slap full of sugar water. With a few drone brood, which is odd. But look at that. That's honey. It's really sugar water just because I know I'm feeding them. So I'm hoping they eventually run out of space and start using the super. And actually, as I say that, I'm going to put the super in the middle again and force them to pass through it, and hopefully force them to start using some of the stored sugar water, nectar, honey, whatever, to draw out some wax. I did not like that. Of the hive right now. So let's see. I have no doubt this hive's doing fine. Yeah, so I'm just going to pop off this top box, put the super in the middle, and they can figure out the rest. how I thought that was going to go with the hive. I mean, this hive is insanely busy. As you can see, they are loving the camera, which is really annoying. I should really try and do my inspections on days where it's super sunny. The bees are out foraging. Yeah, so I always pull the second frame just because the first one's usually stuck to the division board feeder, but you know, nice new looking wax, some capped honey, sugar water, of course, nectar, sugar water. But most importantly, right around here, we got eggs. So, I mean, essentially there's no real need to inspect the rest of the colony. And I see eggs, yeah. Pretty sure the camera will pick up on it. But you can see the larva, and then you can see some eggs on the black plastic foundation, which really makes it pop. But just because I haven't looked at this colony in a while, I'm just going to go through it and see how the rest of the frames are looking. Yeah, they started out pretty slow, but considering it's been maybe a month now, I'd have to go back and look at one of the videos, the original video, I guess, to see when I moved them over here. But they're definitely building up some strength. And as I say that, they're building up strength, it made me think, because when I come out here, there never really looks like there's too much activity on the front porch, but that just kind of goes to show you can't really judge. I mean, you can't judge much at all, or you shouldn't, just by the porch activity. You gotta get in the hive and actually inspect it. Yeah, there's eggs in all the to the bottom right quadrant. There's eggs in all those open cells. Some pretty weird looking drone brood. Some random drone brood throughout. And this is the colony that I checkerboarded, and if you all remember, or you look back at the original video, this was from, this weird stuff here was from the swarm trap, because they had some space. So I'm going to remove this, just because it's causing some, that's what was behind it. It kept honey and just a weird looking frame, so. Maybe I can smash that on another frame or something. Let's see. I've never done this before, so let's see. So y'all can see what I'm doing. I'm gonna take this weird comb that I just peeled off the other side, and basically, out of the way. If not, I guess I'll just be in tune behind it. I'm gonna add this comb to the other side of the frame. Kind of give them a jump start, maybe. I don't know. Let's see if this works. Check on it in a few weeks. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of what they're doing anyway, right? So there you go. Moved it from down here and put it over there. Waste not, want not. Some nice looking new comb on this side, new wax that they're building out. Alright, so we'll just say this is number 4 just to go in sequential order. But they're looking pretty good. They had a nice, the second frame I pulled out, well, frame number 2, which was the first frame I pulled out, had some nice brood, eggs throughout, queens in here for sure, nice food store, so they're doing just fine. I just wanted to take a look at the very first frame that's usually, well, that's stuck to the division board feeder, and they're, you know, kind of as expected, they're using it as a food store. So number 4 looking pretty good. Let's give them a little smoke. Do we have any left? See how they're doing. So it seems like all the bees are really using the sugar water as expected because there's really nothing in bloom right now. It'd be nice if this camera had an auto level feature. Alright, so just like all the other hives with the division board feeder, let's try and get the frame 2 out. So when I moved the swarm into this box, I remember them consuming a gallon of sugar water within a week, and they built out comb on the brand new foundations like I've never seen before, because I checkerboarded all the foundations, or all the frames. And as you can see, even though I'm pretty sure they swarmed 3 weeks after I moved them in here, as you can see, these bees are doing the same. And in fact, this was the frame that had a ton of queen cells on there. So that's frame number 2. Let's see how the frame's doing that's right on the division board feeder. So they're drawing it out, building some wax on it. That's a weird looking thing. Not too much activity on that. This frame's got some weight to it, which is all just food store really. Some nice capped brood, and we have some spun larvae towards the bottom there. And check that out. New frame, new foundation, nice drawn wax, and if you can see all those little grains of rice, queen's been laying eggs, so I have no doubt after seeing that this hive is still queen right. The queen cup is dry though, meaning it doesn't have any larvae in it. But yeah, queen. What am I saying? Yeah, there's just eggs through the holes. Nice looking brood pattern. It's starting to get deep. It's humid out here. These bees are relatively calm. Hive number 2, I did not enjoy that. There's a bee hatching right there. Trying to pull itself out of the cell. Still bringing in some nice pollen. Bright orange, bright yellow. So they're getting it from somewhere. Alright, last frame. This is the inside of the frame. Capped honey, whole bunch of pollen, but yeah, they're still using this for some brood as well. So that's something else, kind of similar to one of the other hives, is when I come out here, there's not too much activity on the front porch, but it kind of goes to show you never really know what's going on in the hive until you open it up. Just fine. No worries. For 2 weeks. Probably add a super so they can start drawing that out, because they definitely don't have a problem with creating wax, that's for sure. Some of the other colonies are just slow going for, you know, whatever reason. Alright, so thanks for watching everybody. July 5th, just a quick look at the colonies today. Everything seems to be looking pretty well, and I'll post another video here in about 2 weeks. Pretty much like the last weekend of July. I think I'll get back out here and see how they're doing. But yeah, if you're around coastal Carolina, you need to feed your bees because we're going through a dearth. And as you can see, they make good use of the sugar water. So hey, thanks for watching everybody. Cole's Farm, Jacksonville, North Carolina. Again, if you like these videos, please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to receive notifications of future videos being posted. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Cole's Farm NC. Thanks, y'all.